What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and if I told you that Hollywood was involved in something terrible, would you be surprised? No, of course not. You would probably say, let me revive an old one, a no doy. Obviously, Hollywood has problems with their love of the young ones, ongoing problems with the casting couch, and now the Telegraph has put out Inside the Multi-Million-Dollar Gasm Cult, Endorsed by Hollywood. A story of idealism, desire, and Californian hookup communes, and the 3-hour gasms. Of course, it's going to start out funny and spicy, but then it's going to get to exactly what this is, where there are all sorts of crimes exposed. So in 2011, the American author and businesswoman named Nicole Daedone gave a TEDx talk in San Francisco in which she spoke on her plans to build an empire on the female gasm. A tall, self-assured woman in her early 40s, dressed in a black silk trouser suit. I don't care what she looks like. Anyway, in course of the talk, which has since been watched more than 2 million times on YouTube, Daedone, who had recently published a book entitled The Craft of the whatever, was standing in front of two glowing lights, described in how in 1998 she had met a man who practiced what he called contemplative spiciness. He invited her to lie down, shone a torchlight on her junk, and proceeded to describe her colors in some detail. Then he did some stuff, and I don't know. I'm not going to go through all that. It's gross. Anyway, it is vital. Every single woman on the planet, a truth apparently undeniable, blah, blah, blah. Bring it to the world, she did. In 2004, Daedone founded a group called OneTaste, disseminating from it's hard to go far in the tale without stumbling inadvertently across double entendre, the practice of what she called gasm meditation, or OM. At its peak, OneTaste was reported to be making $12 million a year. It had centers in 9 cities, including New York, San Francisco, London. It was endorsed by no less than a personage than the high priestess of the junk, Gwyneth Paltrow. But the organization is now shut down following claims from former members of the group, with the FBI reportedly investigating claims of trafficking, pay for play, and labor law violations. Shocking! Shocking. Those of a delicate disposition may choose to turn away at this point, for it is a story of idealism and desire of these hookup communes and 3-hour gasms of the search for Eden and the worms in the apple of power and money. Now it's just a cult. That's all it is, and it's funded by Hollywood. I'm not gonna go over the specifics of it. It's just degeneracy, you know. Young and not so young women, their bank balances bowing under the weight of their Pilates classes, facials, and juicing whatever fruit from the Amazon happened to be fashionable that week, came seeking the answer to what Daedone had spelled out in her TEDx talk, the Western woman's mantra: I work too hard, I eat too much, I diet too much, I drink too much, I shop too much, I give too much, and there's still this sense of hunger I can't touch. Blackman, in an earlier life, a software engineer, says OMing resonated particularly deeply with techies. Silicon Valley was really great place to market because they would talk in terms of having a new operating system for the human connection. Along with OMing came therapy-style exercises and group encounters dressed in bromides about personal growth. Have you ever considered it might be your responsibility as a woman to sit in your power? I don't really know what that means. Now, of course, this all goes back to like tantric stuff. It's not, it's real. It's based in reality, but it's also hilarious cash grab. Let me jump to this. Khloe Kardashian was once said to swear by OM, but its most celebrated champion was Gwyneth Paltrow. Paltrow's website, Goop, famous for selling terrible things, the smells like my junk candle and blah, blah, blah. She talked of how that she'd been there, moved from the process to Whole Foods and Mere Fitness to yoga. OM had shifted hookups out of the dark, under the covers, from shameful and often consumptive places where it used to be and into the light. Of course, that's what Hollywood would want, right? The object is to get the man to stop focusing on his own pleasure. Okay, well, that's happy. That's nice. But now it's been brought to light that there's all sorts of terrible things going on. Some of the people at the heart of the operation could see her missionary zeal transforming into something more extreme. Another earlier member, who wished to remain anonymous, described her as power drunk and a narcissist who appeared to want primarily to be adored and have lifelong disciples. The trappings ever became more pronounced. In 2015, Dayton organized a series of events called Magic School, naming a handful of inner circles as priests and priestesses of the gasm. Buddhist teachings hold that the future Buddha will be called Maitreya. I'm probably mispronouncing that. Dayton told the group that it would not be a person, it would be the OneTaste community, and that it would heal the world through gasming. In 2017, OneTaste had become a flourishing business. The company had 150 staff members, including salespeople, promoting a variety of different courses. It's funny. This is just like, what's the other Hollywood one? That was the Hollywood people were getting sucked in. Nixium, right? Same thing. There's a couple of new documentaries out, one on Hulu, one on HBO Max. You don't need to watch them both, but one of them is, the story is pretty interesting. So some of the courses cost $60,000 a year. The Nicole Dayton Intensive, offering personal tuition in stroking by Dayton herself, cost up to $36,000. But that year, Dayton stepped down as a CEO of OneTaste, ostensibly to work on a book, selling her stake in the company to 3 OneTaste members. The following year, Bloomberg Businessweek published an investigation on which former members described how sales staff working on commission, sometimes 7 days a week, would spend hours texting and calling people who had attended OneTaste events, pressuring them to sign up for the next more expensive class. Potential customers, it was alleged, were referred to as marks, the grifter's term for targets. The sales staff were lions or fluffers. You fluff someone until you get them energetically and emotionally hard. One salesperson told Bloomberg, you were the dangled bait, like, you can have more of this if you just buy this $10,000 course. Potential customers were told that money was just an emotional obstacle and urged to take out multiple credit cards to pay for courses. Some talked of racking up debt upwards of $150,000. The Bloomberg investigation also revealed that in 2015, OneTaste had paid a $325,000 out-of-court settlement to a former staff member who said she had been ordered to hook up with male prospective customers and suffered terrible things as a result. Shocking. OneTaste replied that the settlement was confidential, but they were never required. Bull roar. Then the BBC Radio 4 podcast, the Gasm Cult, launched in November of last year, further brought more claims of sales staff being coerced into hooking up with wealthy men to entice them into taking courses, including one claim of young women having to find multiple partners. A woman in, quote, full power was allegedly should be able to hook up with anyone because the gasm was so strong that it alchemizes everything. OMing and sleeping with strangers could even heal childhood trauma, blowing your lines clean. This is Hollywood. In 2018, a few months after the Bloomberg expose was published, OneTaste announced it was closing all of its U.S. offices and had stopped offering in-person courses and retreats, saying it would instead be focusing on online education to reach a wider audience. But the OneTaste website no longer exists. It's in a place where there's now a new organization called the Institution of OM, was set up by former OneTaste members, which describes itself as an education company dedicated to helping people increase health, happiness, and connection through OM. The website includes links to Dayton's TED Talk and her book about it, but nothing less. The woman who wanted, her cult continues to thrive. Learn the OM for free, reads an offer on the IOM website. Get started in your own hope with our official guide to OMing. Is anybody shocked that this is Hollywood. I mean, seriously. These are the people that are telling the middle class who to vote for, by the way, telling you how to live your life, telling you you're not good enough. They're promoting and participating in stuff like this. And by the way, look up NXIVM. There was a prominent actress from Smallville, I think, and other Hollywood people that all got wrapped up into that. It's worth a watch over the weekend. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.